What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. So today I've got 5 tips to help save you some money on your carnivore life. If you're on the carnivore diet like me, prices at the grocery store have been going up. Government-sponsored inflation's been really taking its toll. Stocks are down, and yeah, starting to feel the pinch. So I've got some tips here, and let's start with number 1. So first tip I can give you, and it's probably the most important one, especially if you're new to the carnivore diet, it's a freezer. You need to invest and purchase a freezer. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. And if you want to be a real boss, get 2. I have 2, and I love it. I'm trying to convince the girlfriend to let me get a 3rd. I barely use the fridge. Everything, I go to the grocery store, shopping cart full of meat, and that meat, if I put it in the fridge, it's going to spoil. So I buy whatever meat's on sale that week. Grocery flyers come out on Wednesday. I'm at the grocery store Thursday or Friday buying up a bunch of meat. And I take that home and I divide it up as best I can, or I just shove it in the freezer. So there's pros and cons to what type of freezer you're buying. Fridges usually have them built in, but they're too small. And like I said, I barely use my fridge. It's just got some cold water in it, things like that. Pretty much everything is stored in my freezer. You can get a chest freezer, and you can get one of those new tall freezers. They both have their pros and cons. Chest freezer is probably cheaper. You're going to get more bang for your buck with it. It's going to offer a little bit more storage. The downside is, once stuff gets all on the bottom, you might forget about your meat and it could get freezer burnt and spoil. That's a tough one. Where the stand-up freezers, they're nice, but they're not as deep. So if you're buying large cuts of meat, like the primal cuts, they probably won't fit in there. You'll have to cut them all down. But if you can do it, and you're going to save a lot of money because your meat's not going to go bad, you can buy the meat on sale. When the flyers are out, I definitely recommend a freezer. It's going to save you a ton of money, and actually, whether you're carnivore or not, a freezer is a good investment. I swear by mine. I love it, and I hope you guys get 1, if not 2 freezers. I think it's going to really help out. Tip number 2, guys, groceries. Very important to know when the stores in your area flip their weekly deals. So we get the grocery flyers on Wednesday. So I'm able to set up a game plan, find out who's got the cheapest meat per pound of what I want. So if I'm in need of some chicken, some ground beef, things like that, I can develop a game plan. Comes out Wednesday, so I'm at the store Thursday or Friday buying up some meat. Very important to use technology to your advantage. You might still get the flyers in the mail. Luckily, we don't. Thank goodness. But there's apps for your phone. I use Flip, but there's tons of other ones out there. I think there's Reebee. There's got to be dozens, if not hundreds, of apps that you can download that are going to pull up all the information in your city. It's going to right at your fingertips. You'll be able to just scroll through and just type it in, basically, ground beef, hit the enter button, and it's going to just pull up a list of all the stores, and you can set it to do it by distance or price per pound. So very important, especially if you're looking to save some money. Gas prices are expensive right now. I don't know how expensive they are in your area, but here they've basically doubled in price in the last couple months. So I don't want to have to drive all the way across town just to save a couple cents per pound on some meat. So now I'm having to just look at distance, but also price point too, and time. Time is very valuable. If I have to drive all the way across town, sitting in traffic, wasting gas, wasting my own time, I might decide to just spend an extra 40 cents per pound more at someplace else that's closer. It's going to give me more time to myself as well. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting yourself one of those grocery apps on your phone and using it, figuring out when your grocery flyers drop, when the sales are available, and they might even price match. Where I live, all the grocery stores just price match each other. So you just have to pull up you can either bring in the actual flyer, or on your phone, you can just pull it up, let the cashier see it, and they mark it down. So that's really important. Use technology to your advantage, and that'll help save you money at the grocery store. Tip number 3, buying in bulk or wholesale. Very important. You're going to save a ton of money doing it that way. Number 1, you're going to save yourself time. You're not going to have to go out to the grocery store every week, sit in traffic, drive around, waste gas, waste your own time. By wholesale, you can buy large cuts of meat, cheaper than the grocery store, and then just shove them in your freezer. The downside is, for example, you might have to cut them down yourself. Sure, it takes a few minutes, but not a big deal, because you're going to save a ton of money. For example, ribeye here, I get it at the wholesale club at $6.99 a pound, where at the grocery store it's $20, $30 per pound. So I'm saving a ton of money. Sure, I spend maybe 5-10 minutes cutting it down into steaks, but that's okay because I can actually control how thick or how thin I want the cuts. So that's very important. So definitely recommend look in your area to see if there's any wholesale clubs that distribute to restaurants, because you're going to eat a lot of meat. You're probably consuming about 2 pounds of meat, maybe 1.5 pounds, depending. And if you add that up for a whole week or a whole month, that's quite a bit of meat. So if you can get your foot in the door with some of these wholesale clubs, or for example Costco, you can buy usually online and then just go pick it up. It saves a ton of time. It's convenient, and most importantly, you're going to save a ton of money, an incredible amount of money. So I definitely recommend checking out your wholesale clubs in your area. There's got to be some. Tip number 4, gardening. Now, you might not eat meat, or maybe you do, you might be keto, but that's okay, because there might be someone in your house that does eat vegetables, so you'll be able to save some money by putting that money towards more meat, which is important. So gardening's easy. Number 1, it's fun to get your hands dirty in the soil. For me, it's a form of exercise. You're getting down to earth, and it's fun. It really is, guys. If you haven't gardened before, give it a try. It's easy. I'm growing tomatoes, lettuce, green onions, and jalapenos this year. But if I can do it, you can do it. I definitely recommend checking some internet pages, see if there's, depending where you live, what soil type you have, and what vegetables you can grow. Very easy to do. On a hot day like today, I water twice, but most days I'll just water once. So yeah, instead of going to the grocery store, spending money on vegetables, berries, things like that, why not just plant them yourself? Seeds are maybe $1 or $2, and you're going to turn a bag of seeds, let's say $2, into probably $20 worth of vegetables. So right there, you've saved a ton of money, and it's fun. You can give the vegetables away to your friends and family, neighbors, things like that, and it allows you to get out into the fresh air, some sunlight, absorb some vitamin D. I definitely recommend gardening if you haven't given it a shot. Very important. Tip number 5, and this is the last one I have for you today. So this one's probably the most challenging of all, and it's flexibility. It's important to be flexible, especially in your budget. I don't know about you guys, but I would really just love to eat ribeyes and lobster every day, but my budget doesn't allow for it, so I have to restrain myself sometimes. And if I want to spend a lot of money on a cut of meat, well, guess what? Sometimes I might just have to eat some meat out of a can, and that's okay, because guess what? This actually tastes really good. So instead of going out and buying the actual salmon or tuna, you might have to eat it out of a can, and that's okay, because like I said, it tastes pretty good. For example, chicken thighs right now are usually cheap. I can buy them for a couple bucks a pound, versus steak, which is 10 bucks a pound, right? So you have to be flexible. There might be days where I'm just eating chicken thighs just to save some money. That way I can afford to go out for the dinner, the steak dinner, the lobster, things like that. So what I would recommend, there's 30 days in a month, sometimes 31, you get my drift, but budget, maybe you can only spend $5 a day. Maybe you can spend $10 a day on meat. So just budget that accordingly, and I think you're gonna save some money, but it's important, be flexible and open to other ideas. For example, you might only just eat beef, but maybe pork's on sale, maybe chicken's on sale, maybe lamb's on sale, fish. So you have to be willing to try a few things, assuming your body will handle it. Not everyone does well on pork, and that's okay. I do well on pork, so I love it, but not everyone does. So I'll buy the pork that's on sale, but maybe you can't. But maybe you can buy the chicken thighs instead of the chicken breasts, things like that. So very important to be open to other ideas. Try some different cuts of meat. Who knows, you might be surprised, you might enjoy it, and you'll save a couple bucks. So until next time, take care, guys. Bye. Right, come on, guys. Even the dogs get some.